Hi, I'm Mo, and I'll order the Chef Special.
And I'm TJ, and in high school I was voted most likely to be a lackluster podcaster.
And this is...
It's still new to us, damn it!
Welcome to It's New to Us, Damn It. I'm Mo, he's TJ, and we are here to watch every movie ever made to get society to notice us.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And this week we watched the greatest film of the 2010s, according to...
Everyone.
Vulture? Everyone?
Vulture, everyone. Moonlight.
Moonlight, that's
Moonlight.
right.
But before we get into that, I think we should mix it up. We got to work on our banter, TJ. Okay, this podcast is not long enough. As you know, my dream is to have a podcast that lasts 2 hours and 30 minutes each time.
I was also in high school voted worst at banter.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, it's
So
terrible.
Moonlight. Synopsis. No, I'm just kidding. So what's new and exciting? It's been a while.
Nothing much. As you know, we haven't done the podcast in a while because TJ's trying to better himself with an education.
I'm off for the summer, though.
Yeah, he's off for summer.
So we are going to crank out a whole season, if not more than that.
Yes.
Over this summer,
Definitely.
Before August, of course.
Definitely.
Before September.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good programming note.
Yes.
But otherwise, nothing else is new.
Let's see. Juice Alliance has its draft. That was fun and exciting. I watched the movie Winchester 73
Okay.
with James Stewart, my favorite actor of all time.
Oh, nice. How was that?
It was good.
I like James Stewart.
Yeah. Oh.
There's a man in that apartment. Grace, he killed his wife.
Ever seen the what's it? The SNL sketch with that parodies Miracle on 34th Street or like
I don't think so.
It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah.
I don't think so. Who plays him?
It's Dana Carvey plays Jimmy Stewart.
I can hear that.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Oh, you son of a bitches."
I can hear that. That's great.
Jimmy Stewart swearing is the best like comedy ever.
It really is.
Yeah, it's just like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" I can't even do it. Like,
you son of a bitch.
you son of a bitch! Oh, you
that is
motherfucker! Oh, you son of a whore!
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
I love it.
Yeah, I think that was the last film I saw. I probably saw many others, but I mostly forgot because it's all blur. Podcast I'm listening to right now is doing the films of Buster Keaton.
Nice.
So I want to watch those. So
That's
that was
cool.
Nice. Yeah, I tried to watch them this morning, but I was working on this podcast and I couldn't pay attention because for silent films you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, you can't be on your phone. Or
No,
anything,
you can't.
yeah.
No.
The only work of his I've seen is a Twilight Zone episode that he's in,
Oh yeah.
where he's a silent. If I remember correctly, he's a silent film star that comes into the real world.
Yeah, I've never really seen any of Buster Keaton's films. I've seen Sunset Boulevard, which I believe he has a short cameo in. I think so, and I believe that's the only thing. Maybe I've seen that Twilight Zone episode, but I'm not sure. But
Okay.
definitely.
Nice.
Yeah. So what have you seen any movies lately, TJ?
Admittedly, no.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I've just been in my free time. I've actually been reading a book,
Oh, really?
like one of those weirdos.
Ooh.
And watching through Cheers still.
That's good.
Yeah, it's
That's
a great
good.
show. I still think I like Frasier better though.
Oh, interesting.
I did watch them out of order though. Obviously, I started with Frasier, and now I moved to Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
And while I can see Cheers being revolutionary for its time and still a very damn good show, I don't know. I like Frasier better.
I think the episode I like the most in Cheers is Veggie Boyd.
I don't know if I've gotten to that one yet.
Oh, really? It's the one where Woody gets a commercial and he
I've not seen that one yet.
no, and he tries this product called Veggie, like some veggie drink, and he says, "I like it" in the commercial.
Yeah.
Then he actually tries it. It's like, "I don't like it. I lied to everybody." And he starts freaking out.
That's great.
Yeah.
He is when Coach the actor, I found out he passed away and got written off the show. I was so bummed out because I actually really thought Coach was very funny.
Yeah.
But Woody is the better character.
Yeah, Woody's
I hate to say it, he's just that damn good.
Well, Woody Harrelson's just a good actor too.
Well, he is, and
Yeah.
he's just the writing on it. He's just so pure and stupid.
True.
It's terrific.
Which is why it's a saying that we making white men can't jump with Jack Harlow.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh God, isn't he a singer or something?
He's a rapper. Yeah.
Rapper, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
Yeah, let's just try to recreate the chemistry that Woody Harrelson and
who the hell was it? Damon Wayans?
no, not Damon
No.
Wayans. No. It was Wesley Snipes.
Oh,
Wesley
yeah,
Snipes,
yeah.
Let's just try to recreate the chemistry that Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes had. Yeah, that's possible. Definitely.
God
It's gonna be
bless.
so bad. Yeah, I'm also reading a book, TJ.
What's that?
Slaughterhouse 5.
Yeah?
Yeah, by
What's
Philip
that about?
Vonnegut.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah. What book you reading?
It's called The Marsh King's Daughter.
Ooh.
It's a book I bought several years back when it came out and just sat on my bookshelf. It had been recommended to me by a an associate of Barnes & Noble.
Ooh.
Yes. And I got it when it was like brand new. It was like signed on the inside by the author.
Cool.
She, I believe, is from Michigan. The story takes place in the Upper Peninsula. And then I found out, actually, just after I started reading it, it's being adapted into a movie that's coming out this year.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's about this woman who lives with her husband and 2 children in the UP, and one day finds out that her father escaped from prison, and the story kind of goes into her upbringing, being raised by this man in the marsh, and she never saw the real world or any outside society until she was like 14.
Oh, like Nell? The movie Nell?
I never saw that.
Okay, it's a great movie. It's where Jodie Foster plays a character just like that. But she can't speak English, so she speaks in like a weird language she invented.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah. I mean, sounds like it might be similar to this one. She sends her family to a safe house and goes on her own quest to take her father down and get him back in prison.
Sweet.
Yeah, honestly, it's been really good so far.
That's cool, definitely. Yeah,
like
Slaughterhouse 5 has been good.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I understand it yet, but I think I will soon.
Kurt Vonnegut, he's one of those people, like, I know the name and
Yeah.
I know that the renowned nature of his work and the influence and all that. He's like Billy Wilder. I couldn't name a Billy Wilder movie offhand, which is sad. I know how influential he was to the film industry, and I know how influential.
Well, maybe that should be our next movies. You should do the Billy Wilder movies. Yeah, even though I've seen Stalag 17, I've seen some of his movies. Okay. So yeah, we gotta see that. But
okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying to understand it. I read the graphic novel American Born Chinese, which is actually really good. I'm trying to get more into comics, not American comics. I got I think it's All-Star Superman, Volume 1.
Oh, nice. Yeah. By Grant Morrison?
I think it's Morrison. Yeah, Morrison.
Yeah.
It wasn't Bendis.
Yeah,
Bendis
All-Star Superman's great.
Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah.
Very good. All-Star Batman and Robin, however, by Frank Miller.
Yeah.
Notoriously bad.
Really?
Frank Miller is such a unique comic writer in that he basically saved Daredevil, he saved Batman with The Dark Knight Returns, and then he goes back to revisit that Batman universe every now and then, and each time it seems to get a little worse.
Wow.
Although The Dark Knight 3 that came out, I don't know, 2016 maybe, 2017, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was not nearly as good as his first, but it was pretty good. But in All-Star Batman and Robin, it's got the notorious meme where he's in the Batmobile with Dick Grayson, who he's rescued.
Yeah.
And Dick Grayson's like, who the hell are you even? And Batman goes, what are you, dense? Are you a retard or something? I'm the goddamn Batman.
That's what he says?
Oh, yeah. It's legendary.
Wow.
It is legendary. Yeah, and the comic is very famously disliked by, everyone.
That's insane.
Are you retarded or something? That's what he says.
Something.
It's so bad. It's so good, though.
Yeah. I never really read any of Frank Miller stuff. Of course, I think comics are a huge blind spot for me. I never really got into them, really. I'd say I got into manga first with One Piece and all that stuff. And I don't know, like, American comics have been a huge blind spot for me. That's because it's really, like, people say it's tough to get into manga because of, like, the length and stuff. But it's really tough to get into American comics because you don't know where to start. At least in manga, they tell you where to start,
That's a good point. And I'd argue DC's probably easier because they restart all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Marvel is more continuity, I think, over the years between their stories, whereas, like I said, DC pushes the reset all the time. That's a good point, though. People do always look at manga like it's insurmountable, but it's kind of the same thing over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'm trying to get into omnibuses, but they're really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if I want to read like I got the first omnibus of I think Amazing Spider-Man by Michael Bendis. Yeah, and that cost me like I don't know, like $10, $12 at like a used bookstore. But if I want like the second copy or the second edition, that's like $150. Yeah, so I gotta find cheap copies. So
God damn, that's a lot.
I know, yeah. Because I went to a store, found like a X-Men omnibus for like Uncanny X-Men. Yeah. It was like huge and it cost like $150. So I was just like, yeah. So now I'm gonna buy something. Now I'm getting into something really expensive. So it's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Yes.
What's that?
Oh, omnibuses.
Just omnibuses?
Yeah.
Okay,
so there's gonna be a new collection of mine. It's
All right.
Hella expensive. Okay, that was our banter time. I think we did good.
Rate our banter, please.
I think that was a B. I'll give our banter a B.
I gotta be honest. I'm ashamed that I said Marlon Wayans back there.
Yeah.
I knew in my heart that it was Wesley
We all
Snipes,
forgot
and
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah,
for
I
some
don't know
reason.
why.
We just
I
did.
thought,
It's like a brain fart.
And I've seen that movie. Like,
Who hasn't
I'm
seen that
really
movie?
fucking
It's great.
embarrassed.
I think it's up there with like one of the greatest sports movies of all time. It's like
Sure.
Hoosiers, Bull Durham,
Rollerball. No,
Volleyball?
No. No.
I tried to watch Volleyball one time. It was like, oh,
The original or the new?
The original.
Okay.
I was like, this is boring. I am tired. I want to see the action. Go.
Yeah, no, I like the idea of it being like a blood sport and a commentary on how we treat sports in society. It's not that. It's not. I mean, it tries to be, but it's not that great. And then the remake is, I've never seen the remake from the 2000s.
Yeah, that's when they try to make Chris Klein into a superstar because of American Pie. And I was like, no.
A failed push.
A failed push, yeah. It was like Rollerball. He had a movie with Heather Graham where if they found out they're dating and they're about to get married and they found out they're siblings, but then he finds out they're not actually siblings and she's going to marry somebody else. So he tries to stop him. She tries to stop her, but nobody else knows that they're not siblings, so everybody thinks they're siblings. Well, they're chasing after each other.
It's relatable.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, anyway, that was good banter, I think.
Banter over.
Yes.
Done. Okay, so, TJ, what movie did we watch this week?
We watched Moonlight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The final episode, the final movie of our season.
Yes.
Yes, we watched them all. We're going to rank them. I think after this, I realized we could have ranked them because we had no game.
Well, we'll rank them. We'll do a little mini-sode by the end of the week.
Yeah, we'll rank because I don't think we've really gone through because it's been a few weeks and stuff, so we won't do that.
We'll rank them and give our next selection.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
pick our first new one.
Yeah.
Do you have the details in terms of director? And
yes, I
year?
do.
Yeah, go ahead and do that, and I'll get into synopsis after.
Moonlight was released in 2016, directed by Barry Jenkins, written by Barry Jenkins.
We need a soundbite for this.
Auteur. I'm stuck in a lot of auteurs. Starring Tavante Rhodes, hope I said that right, The United States versus Billie Holiday, and Bird Box, that Silent Place ripoff.
Yeah.
To
be fair, I never saw Bird Box.
No, I never, like, everybody saw it, and it was like, it's the most popular movie of all time. And then, like, a week later, it was gone. Yeah. Andre Holland, Selma, and Bride Wars.
Oh.
Janelle Monáe, Hidden Figures, and Welcome to Marwen, the Robert Zemeckis doll movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Robert Zemeckis. Sounds insane. Aston Sanders, Judas and the Black Messiah, which is excellent. I said she go check that out.
I got it.
I remember, like, me and my dad watched it, and we were surprised by the end. Like, what? No, we did that.
Which one of the actors was in that?
Austin Sanders. He was
the teen.
He was the teen, yes. Okay. He was the teen, yes. Yeah. And he was Bobby Brown in Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like for biopics, you can't be, like, somebody's name than, like, a name of their song. You got to be one or the other. So he's got to be, like, Whitney Houston or just I Want to Dance with Somebody. That's
Freddie Mercury, Bohemian
Exactly. You can't do that, you know. Or you can do the story. You can do, like, the Whitney Houston story.
Brian Wilson, Love and Mercy.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, like, it is, yeah.
You can't have both. You got to be one.
Can't have your cake and eat it, too. Come on.
Exactly. Joel Jerome, Jharrel, Jerome, Concrete Cowboys, and Sheila and the Spades. Both good movies, I think.
Nice.
Hood, yes. He played Andre Holland's teenage character, I believe.
Nice.
Naomi Harris played the mother. Mm-hmm. Yes. Skyfall. She's Miss Pennyworth.
Yes.
Miss Moneypenny?
Moneypenny.
Miss Moneypenny, yes. And in Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
May I say, too, almost unrecognizable in this role.
Well, she said...
It's just such subtle changes.
Yeah, she said she thought about not doing the role because it's so against her type. Mm-hmm. But then she found out that Barry Jenkins' mother was actually a heroin addict. Mm-hmm. So, actually, no, crack addict or drugs. And so she decided to accept the role.
I'm very glad she did. She is excellent.
She's excellent, yes, yeah. And Mahershala Ali, I hope he's very big. I should know his name.
Mahershala Ali. I'm not sure, actually.
Yes, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Green Book, a movie that won Best Picture, but it's probably a really good movie.
And True Detective Season 3.
Yes, he is in that. Yes, definitely. Green Book. This generation is driving Miss Daisy. So
yeah, I heard it was good. I don't know.
It's just like I don't know. Just
I hear you.
It's like the opposite of this.
I totally hear you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that is who is in and who directed and wrote Moonlight. TJ, what is this movie about?
Sure. So, Moonlight is a coming-of-age story about a young boy named Chiron growing up in a lower-class neighborhood in Miami, where he's constantly being bullied for being different, quote-unquote, from his peers. The film is told in 3 parts. One of Chiron as a young child, one of him as a teenager, and one of him as an adult. The first 2 segments explore his turbulent upbringing, including bullying by his peers, abuse from his crack addict mother, and an unlikely father figure he finds at a local drug dealer. The third segment, consequently, shows us how these conditions shaped Chiron in adulthood. One constant among these 3 acts is Kevin, with whom he shares a deep and loving friendship. As kids, Kevin helped Chiron learn to defend himself. As teens, he and Chiron shared a secret romantic encounter. And as adults, he offers Chiron the opportunity for a new life of genuine happiness together. In the end, while no hilarity ensues, a great deal of optimism does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
That's nice.
Anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think you did perfectly, TJ.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, TJ, have you heard of this film before I introduced it to you?
Oh, yeah. I'd heard about it. I knew that it was a coming-of-age story about a gay man growing up, in a lower-class urban neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that it was told in 3 acts, different ages. I didn't know that the first one was that young. I thought it was like possibly the same actor or something throughout. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But I did know that it had 3 segments like that.
Yeah.
And the most famous thing I knew about it was, of course, Warren Beatty.
The mix-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he announce?
He announced La La Land, which people thought was going to win.
Dude, that movie sucked.
Really? I liked it.
Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase. It didn't suck.
Yeah. Is it the fact that it's like the most Oscar movie ever?
It is the most Oscar. See, yeah,
like
it
praises the old Hollywood. It's flashy. It's
100%. I am holding that against it.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that in the year it came out. I did not see this.
Yeah.
I can tell you now in retrospect that this is a much better movie.
Definitely.
Much better movie.
I think so too.
Okay, I will.
Well,
La La Land is a good movie.
We'll get into it later, but
yes,
I will tell you my thoughts about this movie later. Okay, so Moonlight. Once again, I've heard the same thing. I think that's just when I started paying attention to the Oscars a little bit. Because people were saying like, "Oh, Moonlight's a win," but everybody's like, "Oh no, La La Land's gonna win because it's like the most Oscar movie of all time." And then that happened. The internet broke, and now it seems like mostly not every year, but like once every like 3 years, something happens in the Oscars to stir it up and get everybody public consciousness. Last year, it was The Slap Heard Round the World.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably like another year or two, something else is going to happen, and we're going to be like, oh, the Oscars, let's watch. And then next year, nothing's going to happen, because then...
I haven't watched them in years, to be honest with you.
I watched the last one. Jimmy Kimmel did it, and that was just like, whatever. It was just like, okay, Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm not a fan of Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, it's like the jokes were okay. He brought the slap so many times. Yeah. It would have been funny if this Will Smith did come and started slapping people. That would have been hilarious, but that did not happen. But yeah, it was okay. I know Everything Everywhere All at Once was going to win everything, and it did. And a movie I still need to watch, but yeah, I heard that's amazing, so I want to watch that. Yeah,
sure.
But yeah, I remember watching that night. I was like, I know on Twitter I was going crazy, like, oh my god, it's happening. Yeah, and I'm glad for Moonlight because okay, I guess we'll get into this film now. Okay, so I must say, compared to La La Land, this film is not the same level of entertainment as La La Land. It's definitely La La Land's way more fun and more energetic than this movie. But does not mean this movie...
Yeah, it goes without saying.
It goes without saying, but does not mean this movie is bad. I was still hooked into what was going on.
Sure.
About a gay man trying to find himself in this in his world that he lives in. Yes.
Well, yeah, and you say this world, meaning predominantly black
neighborhoods of inner city Miami.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it is. I think that's a pretty unique framing.
Yeah, I think that's why people were so critical of this movie. Well, not critical. I should say critical. That means it's bad. People are so high on this movie because it's showing something that hasn't really been shown in the public eye before.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, we're learning about black masculinity, identity, homosexuality, everything goes on with it in this eye line, and this movie has not been made like this. I mean, has there been a movie about gay black people? Yes, of course. One of the first documentaries ever made, Paris is Burning, fancy about the the drag race scene in New York back in the 90s. There's been other gay characters, but I think those black gay characters in mainstream movies have been seen as been feminine, maybe the butt of the joke instead of actually being human beings.
Sure. And what I think also sets this movie apart from other coming-of-age films is you do see the consequences of what happens.
Yeah, you see what happens
in
when
his
he
adult
things. Yeah.
Yeah. And this movie totally flips everything that you and I know on its head. Now, let us be clear, folks. The two of us are white suburbanites.
Yes.
Okay?
We would not have any connection to being black or anything like that. We're not saying we do. No.
No, not at all.
No.
But what I am saying is that, growing up, what are we taught about drug dealers? They're bad. They're the bad guys.
Yeah, dangerous.
And what this movie does so well is it humanizes everybody. Drug use will always be a problem in society. It's a sad truth. And the drug dealer, Juan is his name, played by Mahershala Ali.
Yes.
Who's the one that essentially, he's the father figure for Chiron, I'm sorry.
Chiron, yeah.
And we root for, this drug dealer over
his mother.
His mother,
yeah.
Which is, obviously who you expect to be the nurturing one. The way that this movie kind of subverts those expectations and shows what I would imagine is an honest and frank look at how someone growing up, quote unquote, different from his peers would be treated in such an environment. The game that they show them playing, as kids.
Yeah, Smear the Queer, and I was
Smear
like,
the Queer. That absolutely had to be intentional, right?
Definitely.
I was going to ask if they called that name when they called it Smear the Queer when you were growing up, because that's what they called it when I was too. This is a movie that just humanizes everyone involved, and it is unique in that. That coming of age way, in that it does show the consequences. The only other type of coming of age movie I can think of that even does that is the It movies.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a little different. But I think that kept things fresh and
it kept things fresh.
And it was unique.
Mm-hmm. So I guess should we just break down the film in like each part then? Okay.
Sure.
So we meet Little. I forget what the very first scene was. Was it?
It was Juan driving his car.
Yes, Juan driving his car, and then we see Little being chased by kids.
Yes, yeah. It's all in one shot. I think Juan drives away, and then you see the Little running away from. Yeah, so Chiron's name in the first act, or his nickname, is Little.
Yeah.
That's what his peers call him, and the first time we see him, he is running away indeed from a group of kids that, they look like they really have. They're gonna hurt him.
Yeah, they're gonna hurt him.
Yeah,
because he is. People think he's gay, but he's still a young boy. He doesn't know he's gay or not.
He's just different.
He's just different. He's probably not as strong as the other kids.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
And
he ends up holding up in an abandoned apartment building that's known for people going there to do drugs.
Maybe, or just abandoned. So.
Well, that's what Juan eventually says, I think. But regardless. Juan, the drug dealer, finds him and brings him back to his house, gives him something to eat, and eventually learns his name, where he lives.
And they're also introduced to Janelle Monáe's character, which we don't know what relationship that she has with Juan. Could be a sister, could be a girlfriend from his past, or just a friend. We don't know. But it opens their arms to him, and it shows like I don't want to make assumptions about the black community, but they're always there for each other. At least, not saying this to the black community, but people will be there for you if you open your arms and let people in. So,
well, and it also kind of shows you'll find, empathy and compassion in sometimes places that you wouldn't expect to. Again, it's the drug dealer thing.
Yeah.
And at the time, I guess this first shot, sets up that he is a drug dealer.
Yeah.
He oversees crack sales in the area. But he is the only one that we see, at least at that point in the movie, that shows a real empathy for Chiron.
And we don't know why. Maybe he's gone through this before.
That's
and
maybe
he's gone through this before, and he realizes that that he never had somebody himself look out for a person like him, so he's gonna do that with this kid.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Again, it's another. Maybe he just sees that this kid's innocent.
Yeah.
And that is obviously a theme in tons of works of art, is when that age of innocence ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's only so much you can do within the conditions you're raised in to maintain that innocence for long. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I do think that that Chiron maintains that throughout this whole first scene, or the whole first act, I should say. Now, what did you think when Juan brings Chiron back to his home, and the mother comes and starts yelling at Chiron? Did you get any sense that she was some?
Not yet. No, I think the point was to show that the mother was busy. She was out of job.
She was wearing scrubs, right?
Yeah, she was wearing scrubs.
Yeah.
And then she came back. And we don't get a sense of that until very later on. Just like, because we see him saying he's still hanging out with Juan, who I believe they call Blue, right? Is that his nickname?
It might have been.
It might have been his nickname. But he's hanging out with Juan and Janelle Monáe's character still. And then, like, I love the way they showed it, like they're having troubles, It's not just like you just see her doing crack. It's just like, when Little gets back, his mom's like, he's like, I want to watch TV. But his mom's like, no, TV for this, read a book. And then, like, a few moments later, we see the TV's gone. And so it was like...
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like, ingenious. Because at first time you see her, she's in scrubs.
Yeah.
And she's not letting him give daps with the drug dealer. Because she knows who he is, right? And you almost think, okay, well, she's out, a single mother that's just looking out for her kid. And hey, you could even, at least I read into the whole no TV, go find something to read at first.
Yeah.
I read that is, she's actually trying to nurture his, not just watching TV all day.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, that was a really subtle. And then you're right, you see the TV's gone.
The TV's gone. To show this, like just because she looks like this or she acts like this, does that mean that she doesn't have her own problems or issues that is affecting her son.
And the next time he comes home with, Juan drops him off the next time, she's sitting at the kitchen table with some guy, and she has to hide all the drugs real quick, or the paraphernalia. And, ultimately, Juan even confronts her, and then she points out, how are you going to tell me anything?
Exactly, yeah.
You're the one supplying this. But, it's kind of interesting that Chiron, the places that you'd imagine he'd be the safest in, like that you and I were the safest in, are suburbanite
homes,
schools, homes, schools.
Yeah.
These are the places that he is
does not feel safe.
Correct.
Yeah, until he finds a home of his own, which is with Juan and Janelle Monáe for a little bit. Yeah. So, definitely.
Absolutely.
Also, there's this great scene. I think it's been brought up before by a podcast or something where Little is talking about what the F word means, like what's an F word, and he's just and then Juan's just like it's a hateful word, and like doesn't mean you are one, and even if you are one, does not mean you are that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is not really seen in. Once again, I don't want to make assumptions about the black community, but the black community is not really accepting of homosexuality. I guess from a course I took once in college. Sorry, people, I'm like that, but that's the only thing I can relate it to right now. But because it's all about masculinity and being the most masculine person can be, not showing any weakness. Because throughout history, unfortunately, the black man has been used to as a joke, as we're seen as non-human. So that's why you see masculinity so frequent in the black community.
Well, I think we often in society do ascribe things to certain races. I think more than anything, it comes down to class.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that it isn't more prevalent amongst the black community, but the co-writer of this movie, Terrell McCraney, he talked about that. He basically, and I'm just stealing this from Wikipedia, so anyone can go read it. But basically, his point was that you have such toxic masculinity in such situations because people without any kind of privilege or any kind of wealth, they have to find power in other ways.
Yeah,
it's like it's a compensation thing.
Yeah,
and we see that with his schoolmate later, Tyrell, I think.
Yeah.
We see that with all the kids that pick on him, and your heart breaks for him.
Yeah,
because he's just existing, and it's such a nice moment when Juan says, the word that people try and use to hurt gay people. I think he even says gay people.
Yeah.
And you can almost sense that Juan knows that this kid's flamboyant or he's he's gonna be gay or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And there was another interesting thing I thought about this movie, and it's throughout all three acts. Well, especially the first two, I guess. they make such a big deal. His classmates make such a big deal. Even Kevin kind of alludes to it about Chiron being a little different from his peers.
Yeah.
We don't see that at all,
No.
do we? I didn't.
Not really. I mean, he's just...
It's not
he's
like
playing
he was,
with his kids. He's trying to... When they had the dick measuring scene in the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all done, like, something like that growing up. Like, I've definitely shown my friends my penis. You know, it's just like...
It's a rite of passage.
It's rite of passage. Like,
Yeah.
you're just going to see some friends from some dick, like, once in a while. I peed on a person one time. It's just going to happen. That's what this happens when you're little.
Yeah.
You just do weird stuff, you know. I remember one time when we went naked in the basement with all my brother's friends. It just happens. You do stuff like that when you're little.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I do think that it is, you know, somewhat poignant, I guess, that the differences shown aren't. We don't see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. The film does not at all sexualize him.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that? I
No,
don't
it
think
does
this
not,
is
no.
an overtly sexual movie.
No.
It's not at all.
No,
It's
at least until like maybe the very end. But I don't think that's like lust. You're feeling that's feeling like love and like
correct. It's not
and
lustful.
welcomeness. Yeah.
It is love. Yeah. That's what this is about. It's
Definitely.
really not even like homosexual. I mean, it is a homosexual relationship between two men, of course, but it's not. That's not the emphasis of it.
No.
It's not novel because of that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
It's just love.
Definitely. And it's also showing, like, just in the society, like, even if, like, when we were little kids, we're probably all the same, but you can tell who's different from other. I mean, when I was little, I was the tallest kid, but I felt the weakest. And I felt like an outsider. And that way, we can all just feel like that, too. And so he plays with kids. He does everything else like a little kid would do, but, you know, unfortunately, sometimes, you know, if you're not the strongest or you're not the fastest, people can tell right away, and you can consider an easy target. So
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
yeah,
And kids are notoriously cruel,
yeah, they are. Yes, definitely,
especially when their upbringing sucks.
definitely.
Frankly.
Yeah. So I think Little ends. His mother gets caught doing crack. Then I can't remember his name. Juan confronts her, and then I think that's the last we see of Juan, correct? Or no, the swimming scene. How can I forget the most important scene in the whole thing?
Takes him out to the ocean.
Takes him out to the ocean and teaches him how to swim.
And it's like a baptism too.
It's like a baptism,
kinda, yeah.
And actually, I found out the actor who played the little child, Little, did not know how to swim, and so Marcel Ali actually did teach him how to swim during that time.
That is nice.
That is nice, yeah. Yeah, but that goes into a whole theme of water, which we'll get into later. But yes, definitely like one of the most like important scenes in the movie. Yeah. Him, just like teaching him how to swim, him showing him being a father figure, showing him like, you know, there's people you can look up to in this world. Just because they consider them bad people, but doesn't mean
he's honestly, I would argue too. He's not just a father figure; he's a mother figure too, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, Teresa is his lady friend that lives with him. Obviously, is too. But I mean. He clearly shows Chiron empathy. He never tells him you got to act more like a man. He never, ever, you know, treats him like anything less than a human, than a kid. And it really is one of the sweetest relationships.
Yeah.
Which is why it makes it sad that in Act 2...
Yeah, in Chiron, which is...
yes.
Yeah, when he's a teenager. Which is, unfortunately, we don't never see Ali characters again.
He's passed away is the implication.
Really? I did not see
that.
Yes, because I thought either he was in jail or he died.
Someone says, I think it's Chiron's mom might say to Teresa, she says to someone, I haven't seen you since the funeral. Oh, no, Teresa says that to Chiron, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you since the funeral. So it's just implied that Juan has died.
Yes, he lost his father figure, and unfortunately he's still growing up, and he still needs a person to look after. And
his mom is off the rails.
His mom's off the rails. He's doing more crack than she probably has done before. That's what I think they're implying. And he's trying to find something to hold on to, and he has Kevin, who we do see in the first act.
Yes, actually.
Yes, as the only kid who actually befriends Little.
And their relationship is established pretty much off the bat.
Yeah.
He tells Chiron, Kevin tells him, you know, you have to stand up to these guys, you know.
Yeah.
And you get that sense immediately that Kevin's a little more braggadocious, a little more, you know, comfortable putting up a front.
Yeah.
But you do get a sense of their relationship, the way that Sharon touches Kevin's face when he's examining a cut.
Yeah.
It's such a minor little
It's a minor thing. Like, yeah, there's something there. And that goes into further in...
And it's sweet. Honestly, it's
Sharon.
sweet.
So...
Yes.
Sharon.
And they play wrestle. That's about the extent that you see of Kevin in that first act, though. But that is an important scene. You're right.
Yeah. And then, unfortunately, Sharon has lost his father figure. He is getting bullied by this kid in school.
Yeah.
And, like, he has nowhere to go to. Like, he tries to... he just tries to go away from it. He tries to just go walk away from it, but he can't.
No, the kid follows him. He calls his mom a whore.
Yeah.
Makes fun of the fact that Juan's dead.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he said his name directly, but he mentioned Teresa. And,
yeah, she can give a good head. Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah. Yeah, and he tries to get away from it. He goes to Teresa's house, just to calm down and get away. Well, his mom sends him out of the house, first of all. It's just, just to find some comfort. And unfortunately, his mom, when he comes back, his mom wants the money that Teresa gave him. And this causes more of a downfall. And then he goes to the ocean to find comfort. That's one of the last places that we see him and Juan together, and that brings him calmness and open-headedness. And then Kevin is there.
Yes, Kevin goes there, and they smoke a blunt and talk, and this is when Kevin drops the charade of, he's always
masculinity of toughness and just
and he's always bragging about how he got caught detention because he was caught knocking boots with a
woman in the
hallway, and they kiss.
They kiss, and then he gives him a hand job. Yeah. It was definitely actually a very sweet moment because it's just,
it was a very sweet moment. Yeah.
And Sharon, I mean, he has some sort of happiness because he has a connection with somebody. But unfortunately, this is when the movie really got me. When it was like, yes.
I know, yeah.
Unfortunately, the veil of masculinity cannot go away in this situation.
At least not as teens.
Not as teens, no. And the guy who's picking on Sharon, he's just like, hey, Kevin, remember that game we used to play? Where we would pick a kid out and we beat the shit out of him? I'm like, yeah. It's like, I'm going to pick a kid out and you have to do it again. And then, unfortunately... Well, we all knew he was going to do it. He's going to pick Chiron, and Kevin has to do it, or else he will see less of, and maybe will be found out, but we don't know. So, and unfortunately, Chiron gets the capture Kevin by everybody, and
by his best friend.
And that's when the kind of lessons that Juan taught him kind of disappears.
Well, now he harkens onto what Kevin told him in the first act.
Yeah,
you got to pick out the biggest guy, and basically prison rule. Pick out the biggest guy and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, you got to show you're tough.
So as much as you hate the scene of Kevin, and I mean, you see the pain in Kevin's face when he's saying, "Stay down, Sharon." Stay down.
Yeah.
And Sharon keeps getting up.
He won't do it because he doesn't want to give him the satisfaction of him being defeated.
Right, and I think there's a part of Sharon that understands it.
Yeah.
As heartbreaking as it's got to be for him, I think there's a part of him that does understand it. And I think he's more, I don't know, it's got to be some sense of betrayal from Kevin.
Yeah.
But I think he's more mad at Terrell, and we definitely see that in the next scene.
Yeah, definitely.
When he comes in, like Ari Gold with the paintball gun, if you've ever seen Entourage, he comes into school the next day, grabs a chair, and by God, smashes that fucking thing over Terrell's back.
Yeah.
And it's cathartic.
You're kind of rooting for him, but you're like, damn it. Like, we just know it's over then. We just know, Sharon will be pushing down who he is, and will put up this flawed forever. Well,
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's going to be resigned to the American justice system for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's what we find out. And without his father figure, without a steady mother figure even, he's got nobody for guidance.
Yeah, and he has to be tough because that's the only thing he can think of in this world to survive.
Yeah, and as a teen in the second act, he's very small. He's very
thin. Yes.
And then when we see him in that third act, I mean, he's like 50 Cent big.
Must I say, though, the casting for this is amazing because they got each person that looks almost exactly like...
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. It was very well done.
Yeah, especially for Andre's character. For Andre Holland's character. Kevin. It's actually really
well done. God, Kevin, they looked like it was literally...
Yeah, literally, wow, yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So, what else? Anything else from the second act you want to talk about?
No, I think that's mostly it. I mean, that's mostly covers the beats of the story.
Yeah.
And then we get into the third act, Black, which is the nickname that Kevin gives
Yes, in the
Tyrone.
second act, he
Yeah.
starts calling him Black a couple times. We don't really know why, or it's never stated, I don't think.
I don't think so, no.
Just calls him Black.
Calls him Black. And then we show what happens, like, when the masculinity, the veil of masculinity takes over.
Yeah.
Like, he's like Drew, he's like, sorry, Juan. I want to say Drew, but it's Juan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's like Juan. He's a drug dealer now. He's very tough, but he doesn't have the sensitivity that Juan has because he hasn't. I don't know, because he's kind of lost all that when Juan died and all this stuff happened to him.
Well, unfortunately, too, that lifestyle. He said he was in juvie for a while, and that's where he first got into the trap game. He moves to Atlanta. I mean, unfortunately, that's the sad part about that business. You could possibly be a good person in your home life, but in the job, you kind of have to be a hard ass, I think.
And you see that like when he visits the drug
to get his money?
His worker, yeah. He says to get his money. It's like he shows he's like being tough, and the guy's afraid of him, and so he did it. He gained the respect of fear in that he's big. He thinks he might fuck you up if you say something wrong, but he's like, I'm just kidding. And he did it, and then we get a call from his mom, but then Kevin calls
out of the blue,
for the first time.
Yes. And Kevin, it turns out, had some legal issues too.
Yeah, but he got
he's
over
out
it.
since, and then he's been working in a kitchen.
Working in a kitchen, got his life together.
Yeah.
And
he, said, "Hey, if you ever are in the area, stop on by."
Yeah.
And I mean, you're right. This whole Black chapter, the beginning of it, he's in Atlanta. It really is all about the consequences of those first two acts, and it's the
it also kind of shows like certain things in life can just affect you the whole time, like even if it's like the smallest thing. I mean, that of course those are big things, but like it just could be that or something else. It's like your life's just based on certain events, and those certain events shape you.
Well, it's nature and nurture, frankly. You know what I mean? If people are born the way they are, right? That's the assumption I've always gone off of. If he was born gay into a culture, into a situation where that wasn't really tolerated or understood or accepted, this is a natural progression for how things might turn out. And I'm sure they do turn out for plenty of people in similar ways. Mm-hmm. And you hate to see it at first, man.
Yeah.
It was a real sad, but it was nice. Again, it was nice to see he had somewhat a sense of humor, and he was, for a drug dealer, still slightly endearing, the way he was teasing the guy.
Definitely.
He was collecting the money.
I think we saw a little bit of old Tyrone when Kevin called. We saw like a little
100%. Because I was expecting him to yell, like, motherfucker, do you know what you did to me?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, he wasn't like that.
No.
I think, I don't know. There's some kind of wisdom he has where I swear he didn't hold that against Kevin.
No.
In the long run, the beatdown. But what does he do? He inevitably does go back to visit his mom.
Yeah, in Miami, and she goes to the rehab center.
She's clean.
Yeah, she's clean.
Yes, she's clean, and she's working like maintenance, I think, at the rehab center.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe I just made that up. But she's clean, and they have a nice moment together where it's clear that she understands that she was not a great mom.
No.
It's not
like it's an apology.
Heartwarming,
yeah, but it's just like I think Chiron understands at least now why she did it, or maybe like somewhat forgives her. But
it's like, not some tearful reunion.
It's not like everything's fine now. Right. It's like it's like the first step to being fine. Yeah,
and that's realistic.
Yeah,
that's realistic. You can't just slap a Band-Aid on a wound that big. Yeah, right. I mean, but it was nice, and it's the first step. Mm-hmm. And he does soften by this point after Kevin calls. Kevin tells him, I'd love to, if you stop by, I'll cook for you, and I want to show you a song on the jukebox, right? So after he visits his mom, he goes to visit Kevin.
Yeah. And I must say, this is like truly one of the most romantic scenes I've ever seen before in my life.
Sure.
Truly. Just like, wow.
Yeah. And all it is a guy cooking for another guy at a restaurant, sitting with him.
Drinking wine. And then when that song comes on, I'm like, oh my God. Are you serious? I'm like, oh man. That's just like me all in the feels. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Like that song was introduced early in the film. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't really put it together. But like, even if I don't even remember that song, it still works. It's just, you hear his baby. I'm like, oh man.
Mm-hmm. Hello,
like,
stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And you see, works. There's almost the symbolism of Kevin taking his guard, or Sharon taking his guard down when he takes his grill out to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's smiling again, and he's
happy.
Right.
Yeah.
And Kevin, apologizes for what happened to them in school, and Sharon, it's water under the bridge. And there is a level of wisdom there, and it really is a very romantic and sweet scene, ultimately. And not one that's sappy by any means, not one that seems unrealistic or, just cartoonish, caricaturistic. It's so just real. And at that time, it's like, it's the classic high school thing. And I think it spoke to me because I was never bullied. I'm very lucky I was never bullied in school.
Yeah, I wasn't really bullied that much, except for, unfortunately, a few instances. But
well, it happened. But I bet nowadays, people, once they grow up, you realize that there's no such thing as cliques. There's no such thing as the cool kids or the, whatever. And looking back at it, that was just some stupid high school shit.
Yeah.
And I do think that, they both obviously can put it past them. And
yeah. And obviously, Simone still has feelings for Kevin, even after all these times. After there's this one phone call and he comes swimming back. Because, as you learned at the very end, no one has touched Simone since Kevin.
Yeah.
So I believe that means he's never had sex.
That was my assumption, too.
He's just playing this tough character. Didn't let anybody get close to him. But once...
It's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet, yeah. And I love how this movie ends. It's just like they're not kissing, not having sex. They're just holding each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's not a mushy, sappy, meme-worthy kiss fest. Like, you see the, I wish I could quit you meme. It's none of that. It is just really pure romance, love, kinship.
Tenderness.
You know what I mean? Yeah, not kinship. That would be weird, but
yeah,
romance, it is.
Yeah, and we don't know what's going to happen after. We don't know. But, like, maybe we can see that maybe Shimon is back. He's not in his black character anymore. He's this tough guy. He's dropped like a little bit back into Chiron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now he can maybe actually be himself instead of this veneer.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
That's all most people want at the end of the day is just an environment where they can unabashedly be themselves.
Yeah.
And they both have found that now, it seems like.
Especially Kevin. I mean, Kevin has dropped the veneer of like masculinity and all that stuff, and he's just him.
Yeah.
And he has a child now with a woman, but they're not together. Mm-hmm. And maybe the woman knows he's gay, or we don't know, but we don't need to know. We just need to know that he is now him, and he's happy with who he is. Because he finally was able to be him. Yep,
and we should all be so lucky.
Yeah.
And I think this movie does, I think a part of it too is letting audience know that finding yourself isn't something that's, so often we see the coming of age as teenagers, right?
Yeah.
As, Stand By Me or It, again, what have you.
Yeah, same.
But really though, the coming of age, I mean...
It takes time. I'm still trying to find myself. Yeah.
I'm 32 now, and I feel like just have found myself over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I guess part of it is being locked down with yourself and only yourself for a full year, but it's true. And I imagine I'll be a much different person in my 40s.
Yeah. We all are. Yeah. So
how old do you think they were in the last act? Did it say at all?
I think 30s.
I would say 30.
30, yeah. I guess if I had to put like actual age, maybe 34, 35, something like that.
So about my age, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, definitely.
But that is true. I think that is a big part of what's being told here is that it's not always going to be easy.
No.
But it's best to move on and not look back in hate, not look back with resentment toward others that may have wronged us. And in the end, Sharon forgives Kevin, and again, it ends in one of the sweetest ways you could possibly imagine.
Yeah. So just embrace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alerts for Moonlight, by the way.
Yes, spoiler alerts. Okay, so that was
Moonlight.
That was Moonlight, yes. Yeah. I guess now we'll go into our final thoughts about it.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so when I began watching this movie, I watched it with my sister. And I must admit it was a little bit slow in the beginning. A little bit slow. But right when I would say right when Chiron and Kevin fight, that's when it really started to pick up with me. Definitely. And it definitely made me feel for these characters. I mean, I'm not a black gay man from the inner city.
You're not?
No.
Oh my
Surprise.
God,
I know. What? Insane. Yeah, so I can't relate to that, but I can relate to somebody that's seen as different. That's somebody that wants to find himself, somebody that wants to accept vulnerability but can't, you know. Because I've had those problems too. I have times where I thought I needed to be masculine, but I didn't need to be masculine, you know. And I relate to that. And the love story of Chiron and Kevin just really hit me. I mean, I've never been in love before, but I can see that could be true love. Definitely. So, entertainment-wise, is it like a gangbusters like La La Land or something like that? Of course not. But it doesn't need to be. Films don't need to be that. Films can be whatever they want, as we've been learning through this podcast. So, I would have to give this 5.5 stars out of 6.
Okay.
Yes.
This movie, you know, like I said, I don't necessarily relate directly with the characters, but I've always considered myself something of an empath. I know that I already sound pretentious as it is, and that doesn't help me at all. But I really do. I've always, I think, been able to put myself in other people's shoes pretty effectively and feel for other people who are in pain or who don't have it as easy as me. And so I really, while I don't relate with Chiron or Kevin or really anyone in the movie directly, I can appreciate the struggles that they no doubt go through. Adolescence and teenage years are easy for nobody. Now imagine how they would be growing up with nothing, with a mother who's more worried about getting her fix than raising you. Or, you know, with kids, imagine not being afraid to go to school.
Yeah.
That is the most horrifying reality one of the most horrifying realities I can think of, that there are kids out there that are afraid to go to school. And I never had that, and I'm very lucky for that.
Yeah, we are both very lucky.
Very fortunate. My God, yeah. So, this movie, I didn't expect gangbusters, and I know you didn't either.
Yeah, exactly.
I never thought it was slow. I thought that the first scene did a great job of setting up what kind of environment we're dealing with. One where, you know, there's drug dealers openly on the street.
After thinking back, that is true. I do agree. It does set a good environment.
It's an establishing shot.
Yeah,
as far as
establishing.
Right.
Yes.
And the movie immediately establishes Chiron, and he's different. You don't even know why. I mean, going in the movie, I know why.
Yeah.
But I don't see it.
You can tell, like, how skinny he is, you know, he's just...
Well, sure. But, you know, they say he walks funny. I don't remember him ever walking funny. He's a kid. Kids walk funny. They're funny looking. They're disproportionate. But the way this movie goes from one act to the next, it shows this natural progression of these seminal moments in this child's life, and why, you know, he ultimately ends up who he is. And I love that it has that twist, too, where he's, you know, it shows that nobody's irredeemable. We don't even know if he's done anything. I mean, other than selling drugs, we don't know if he's done anything violent or anything heinous,
kill a person,
right?
or anything like that. We just know that he wasn't raised like this, but his environment and what happened to him made him into this, you know.
Hey, you got to eat. It's capitalism, frankly. Drug dealing, and I don't condone it, but
drug
dealing
is the money.
Right. There is always a market for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's what everything's about.
And if that is your norm growing up, guess what? That's what you're going to know as an adult.
Yeah.
But this movie shows that, hey, you know, you don't need that. You can break out of a life of crime. You can, you know, find happiness and find someone that you can be with. And really, this movie does a lot that just... It's such a simple movie.
Yes, it's so quick, too.
It's so simple.
It's almost 2 hours long. Does not feel like 2 hours long at all.
No, it
does not. No.
But it's so simple. It never gets ahead of itself in terms of symbolism or in terms of, you know, being didactic, where it's heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Never once. Never once does it, you know, get up on a soapbox, right?
No.
This movie is expertly acted. Definitely. It is expertly photographed and directed.
Yes, Barry Jenkins did an amazing job with this.
Everything in this movie is just expertly done. The colors when, you know, they're night swimming. You know, they keep returning to the water.
Moments when the mother is on drugs and screams at him.
Yeah, you get these harsh reds in their apartment as opposed to those cool dark blues in the water. Everything, though. The photography, again, the colors, the direction, the cinematography, the editing even, the sound, the music.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
expertly
the music
done.
was amazing.
Yeah.
I love the similar. I love the cross between rap music and orchestra music.
Yeah,
Yes,
and it's done
especially when
very well.
when the kids were playing "Smear the Queer" during that scene. I was like, oh, this seems it seems like kind of like a battle. You know, you're in the battle.
Well, and that's exactly
Yeah.
that's exactly the crux of this movie. It's the masculinity fighting with the humanity, the desire to be loved.
Yeah.
No matter who you love or who you are. I think that's absolutely what I took away from it.
Yeah.
I thought the characters were so interesting in terms of obviously what we know about Sharon, but then even so, we don't know that much about Kevin or Juan, but we have enough to make inferences.
Yes.
And do so in an educated way. Long story short, because I've been rambling, I'm giving this movie 6 stars out of 6.
Great.
I can't say a bad word about this movie. I thought it was just damn near perfect. I think this is a movie that everybody should see, regardless of who you are. I think you should see this movie with an open mind and just try to understand what it would be like to be this young man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was perfect. That was great, TJ.
I can't say a bad word about this movie.
That was great.
No, again, highly recommend it.
Definitely.
I enjoyed Moonlight quite a bit.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so that was our opinions on Moonlight, and let's go to everybody else's opinion on Moonlight. Shall we?
Yep.
Okay, so as I said before, this movie is on like a lot of top 10 lists of the 2010s, and of course the 2016. People say like this is the best film of one of the best films of the centuries. You know, it's just like it's up there, and that's the question we should ask: is this one of the best movies to be released like this century, or the past or in the 2010s itself? That is a tough question to ask. Of course, this film is kind of groundbreaking, I would say, because it's showing something society knows exists, but we haven't really been shown in cinema form.
Yeah, what I think is most novel about it, though, what's most fresh about it, is the fact that it's not trying to make the fact that the characters are homosexual the selling point. It's just a love story.
Just a love story.
It.
Yeah.
That's all it is. This is no different than Romeo and Juliet in a way. They grew up, I mean, they were royalty, wealthy, but regardless, they fell in love in a place where they weren't allowed to, right?
Yeah.
That would have been the same with Kevin and Sharon, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's what's so novel about it. It's not something that uses homosexuality to sell tickets. It's just it's an A24 movie. It's not out there to be this big blockbuster, even if it was. Obviously they want to make money, but it's more of an art thing than anything else. True. I'd say.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. Now, would you say this is one of the best films of the 2010s?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's so hard to say that though, because I mean.
Well, I don't know. Like, how
can I compare this to The Departed or Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all so subjective. I'm almost like, I get the idea of ranking movies, and I do it all the time.
Yeah.
But like, how can I rank this? I'm not ranking the Die Hard movies here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're ranking like cinema, art, feelings, storytelling.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think in terms of objective filmmaking, yes, it's one of the best.
Yeah.
It's just expertly made.
Yeah, ranking, like, I don't know. Like, I know it's fun to do rankings and all that stuff, and that's how we tell, like, oh, who's the best and stuff. It doesn't really matter in the end. It just matters if it's good. If you think it's the best, that's fine. Mm-hmm. It could be the best, or that could be the best, but it doesn't really matter, because, like, each one will influence us differently. It's Citizen Kane the best film of all time. That's what people say. I agree with it. Not really, but it's still one of the most focal points of cinema history that we should study and take from.
Yeah. My brother, for instance, says Clerks 2 is the greatest comedy of all time. And I love Clerks 2, and I love my brother, but I'm not going to endorse that.
No. No. Yeah. But yeah, so reception, fortunately, Ebert died, so we cannot have his review.
I think he would have liked it.
I think he would have loved it.
I think he would have loved it. Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes score, 98% of critics loved it, of course, and 79% of audience score loved it, which I'm hoping that's not for the reasons I think it is, and hopefully it's people thought it was really slow or something like that.
I'm sure they did.
The critic consensus on Moonlight is Moonlight uses one-man story to offer a remarkable and brilliantly crafted look at lives too rarely seen in cinema. So that's what everyone on Rotten Tomatoes
says. There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So here's some reviews I picked out from Wikipedia. Michael Wood from the London Review of Books. He says, this is for the end of the film, quote, by the end of the film, there are still 10 minutes of late Ingmar Bergman to go, which is a director hopefully we also watch. The film keeps showing us Chiron's handsome, inscrutable face. The silence doesn't tell us anything. This asks us to feel sorry for him. All is not lost, though, because we gaze at Chiron, we think of something else. His resemblance to Juan, his father figure. Does it mean that Juan was one Chiron? Not quite. Not quite that, perhaps, but the last shot of the film is the young Chiron sitting on the beach, looking out at the ocean. His eyes wide says all this desolation and promise that just Juan saw in him at the beginning. If we started again, things be different?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now there was some backlash to this film. One critic in, I believe, The Times in London, or in England, sorry, Camilla Long says the story has been told countless times, which it hasn't at all, and against countless backdrop. So she's saying like this story has been told, but like maybe not with two gay men who are black, but it's been told before, and the film is not relevant to a predominantly white audience, middle class audience.
It's not what?
It's not relatable. It's not relevant to a predominantly straight white middle class audience.
Well, that's not the movie's fault.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she can say what she wants. I
Yeah.
just think that's a stupid opinion, especially considering it did. You know, I do devalue the Best Picture award quite frequently, but this is one that I feel like kind of earned it.
Yeah. Yeah, and people say that. Catherine Schwad said like she's not. I think people are saying like. I think she's talking about the critics' opinions of the film, not the film itself, but. I don't know. That's still not good enough, I think. So
I don't know. I mean,
yeah, that's still not good. That's still not good enough to criticize the film.
I can't say I've seen anything that this reminded me of, or this felt derivative of.
No,
but
maybe so I don't agree with Camilla Long.
Whatever.
So, yeah. Okay, the awards for this year.
Fuck you, Miss Long.
Fuck you. Yeah, whatever. The awards for this year. The Oscars. Winner for so Moonlight won these awards. Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, Mahershala Ali. Hopefully we got that right. Yep. Which he's only appeared in 20 minutes. Less than 20 minutes. So it's like an Anthony Hopkins. So, but it was so subtle, his performance, that, I don't know, it was that good. So
he was very good.
Yeah, it was amazing, yeah. Best Adapted Screenplay. This is based off an unproduced play that I believe Terrell Alvin McConey wrote, I believe.
Yeah, Black Boys. I'm sorry, it's something like that.
Yeah, Black Boys, something
hold
like
on.
Yeah.
In Moonlight, black boys look blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty. I didn't know that's possible. I thought you had to be. It has to be like something that's out there, not something that's been unproduced. And
isn't that wild?
Yeah, I didn't know that. So that's nice to know. It was nominated for Best Director, Barry Jenkins. Best Supporting Actress, Naomi Harris, who was the mother. Best Cinematography, James Laxton. Best Film and Editing, Joy McMillian and Nate Sanders. And Best Original Score, Nicholas Bertel.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the year. I think the director won La La Land. Nicole Savalier, I forget his name, but yeah, he won for that year for direction. Other best pictures besides Moonlight was Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell of High Water, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, and Manchester by the Sea. Yeah. So obviously through all that, I think like obviously the two were Moonlight and La La Land. Those were the obvious top two. It's like maybe Hidden Figures could have pulled out, but. Yeah, but of course we all know what happened. Damn, Warren Beatty messed up.
Yeah.
Damn that Warren Beatty.
What's the last movie he was in?
He made a movie. He made a movie about Howard Hughes when he went insane, and that was his last film. He played Howard Hughes, trying to make a movie with Marilyn Monroe.
All right.
Yeah. But okay, so he does this great thing for Turner Classic Movies where he owns the rights to Dick Tracy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he has to do something with that, or else he doesn't have the rights anymore.
Nice.
So, like, a few years, he goes on TCM and he interviews himself as Dick Tracy. He just did it recently, too, so it's great. You can probably find that on YouTube. It's amazing.
That is pretty damn funny,
Yeah.
actually. Does he actually put an effort into it?
Yeah, he puts the costume on and everything. Yeah, it's great. It's amazing.
I do love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 10 films of 2016. Number 1, surprisingly, Finding Dory.
I'm not surprised.
You're surprised, actually.
Well, I guess it's not Star Wars or Marvel, so.
Yeah. Number 2, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Number 3, Captain America: Civil War.
Yep.
Number 4, The Secret Lives of Pets.
Jeez.
Number 5, The Jungle Book. Number 6, Deadpool. Number 7, Zootopia.
Wow.
Number 8, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Wow.
Number 9 was Suicide Squad.
Wow, we really are living.
And number 10 was Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Dude, that's wild because
I'm surprised that's only at 10.
Well, that released the year before.
Oh, really?
That's December.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why. Dude, we are really living in a dystopian
That's like
hellscape,
mostly
man.
all Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for like Batman and maybe Suicide Squad. That's it.
Yeah.
And no, Secret Life of Pets was not Disney. That was a...
Oh, it wasn't?
No, well, no. But yeah, it's mostly all Disney.
Wow, though.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
And now we're facing like the backlash of this. This is like the... Like we got the good stuff in the 2010s. Even some people said not the great stuff. Now we're getting this like... People are tired of superhero movies and like...
I know.
Now the,
I
like,
am. I know that.
Now this rapid schedule is now affecting the movies because VR effect artists can't work that fast and like the writing's not that great. So, I mean, I have not seen Ant-Man, but I know the VR is kind of bad, especially for MODOK. So,
I haven't seen it yet.
yeah.
I've heard from some that it's the worst of the MCU, but I've also heard from others that it's really good. So I don't know. I'll watch it eventually.
Definitely. Out of 200 films on Box Office Mojo in 2016, this ranked 135.
Okay.
Yeah, the budget for this was $1.5 to $4 million. We're not really sure. I don't know. I think Barry Jenkins has never actually told us the real thing before. And box office was $65 million total. $65.2 million in domestic and worldwide. So, yeah, so they did good. So $65 million.
Nice. Yeah, that is really
Definitely. May I suggest those who do not know Barry Jenkins, I don't know his filmography that well too, but he has made he has made the Underground Railroad series on Amazon, which I heard is amazing.
Yeah.
But of course, it's one of those things Amazon just dumps, and nobody's ever heard of it. I forget his other movies, but also there's this great Criterion Closet video with him picking out movies, so you can see his influences and the things he likes, which is always great.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's also my second dream, to be in the Criterion Closet for this podcast. That's just me and you just picking out movies.
That's
That's the dream. Fun facts, I guess, for this movie. When Juan teaches, like I said before, when Juan teaches Lil how to swim, Ali is really teaching Alex R. Hibbert how to swim. He didn't know how to swim.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. And even Barry Jenkins said that 3 actors who played Chiron never met during production. He wanted each of them to build their own persona of Chiron during respective segments with no influence from the other portrayals. And the same technique was used to the actors who played Kevin. Which is actually really well, because it seems like, this would be each stages,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Mahershala Ali won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor because he was in the film for less than 20 minutes of screen time, just like Anthony Hopkins when he won Best Actor. So that's actually really impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Such were the budgetary constraints on this production. The cast had to share one trailer for costumes, hair, makeup, and one restroom stall for the rest of the cast and crew.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the first LGBT film and the first film featuring all-black cast to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. Chiron is the name of a centaur in Greek mythology known as the Wounded Healer. The song One Step Ahead, which I believe is the song that plays in the diner, by Aretha Franklin, plays twice in the film. And the first act is playing in the living room after Chiron comes home from a swimming lesson. And you can hear it again in the diner.
Oh, okay.
So both great times in his life he hears that song.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Barry Jenkins points out that someone feeds this dude in each chapter of the film, which is not something he wanted to point out. Like, wasn't really something real symbolism, but it shows that if you find yourself drifting outside the community, you never go hungry. Someone will feed you. There's always be someone there for you.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. The penis comparison sequence, which we have not really touched on a lot, but a little bit, actually happened to Jenkins when he was in middle school. Yeah.
Nice.
Like I said, dude, we do this thing. So, yeah.
Yep.
That is Moonlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about all we really can, and the rest of it is just going to watch it now.
Yeah, it's going to watch it.
If you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful movie.
It is. Okay, so that's it for Moonlight. I hope you guys enjoyed this season. Hopefully you did good. For our next episode, we'll rank these movies, and we'll find out what the next movies are. Season 4.
Spoiler alert, this is the top, in my opinion.
Is this the top?
Right, for me, yeah.
We're just going to go downhill from here?
No, for the season, I mean.
Oh, really? Yeah, definitely.
Rank the season. Yeah, I mean, I can't give it a 6 and then say it's not the best.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, you'll have to...
You have to wait and find out.
Listen. Right.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, if you do like this show, hopefully please continue to listen to us. Follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Twitter at @it_dammit. And on Facebook, it's still new to us because Facebook would not allow us to swear.
Yep, and if you go to Cousino High School, please vote for me as most likely to be a successful podcaster.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. Can you still do that even though you've been out of high school for 10 years, 15 years?
15?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We're on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel now. Please leave us comments. Tell us something. We suck. We're great. Tell us something. Tell us games we should play at the end of this video so we just don't end these awkwardly. We're on SoundCloud. We're on Spotify. We're on Anchor. Yeah. So please listen to us. Please subscribe. Please rate us. Please tell us anything about this podcast.
We could do a joke of the day.
We could do that.
Do you know what a Freudian slip is?
No.
It's when you mean to say one thing, but you end up saying another. That
was a great one.
You like that?
I love that. Okay.
Can't take credit for it, but yeah, I like that one too.
This is Mo, and I must say the chef special was delicious.
And this is TJ, and I've used up all my clever lines for tonight.
Okay. Okay, bye everybody. Let's have Bob Mitchum play us out.
Adios.
See ya.